Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 680 of the Juicebox Podcast. Nancy is the mother to Zach. Zach has type 1 diabetes, and they're both here on the podcast today to chit-chat with me. While you're listening, please remember that nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan or becoming bold with insulin. This episode came within a hair's breadth of being called Golden Doodle. If you have type 1 diabetes, or are the caregiver of someone with type 1 diabetes and are a U.S. resident, please go quickly to t1dexchange.org/juicebox and fill out the survey. It will take you not long at all, fewer than 10 minutes, and your answers, which will be easy to come up with, like they're not tough questions is what I'm saying, are both HIPAA compliant, absolutely anonymous, and, as a bonus, will help people living with type 1. t1dexchange.org/juicebox. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by Dexcom, makers of the Dexcom G6 continuous glucose monitor. Learn more and get started today at dexcom.com/juicebox. The podcast is also sponsored by Omnipod, the makers of the Omnipod DASH and the Omnipod 5. Learn more at omnipod.com/juicebox. Both of these advertisers have some version of a thing you may be eligible for where you get some free product to try out. I'll talk about both of them during the advertisements, which will happen in the middle of the episode. Who wants to go first?
I will, I guess.
Go ahead.
All right. Hi, I'm Nancy. I am the mom of Zach and about 5 years into T1D and just happy to talk to you.
How old are you, Zach?
I'm 14.
So you were diagnosed at 9?
I was diagnosed at 8.
8. Okay. You just turned 14?
Yes, this year.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
No, of course. All right. Well, let's go like this for a second. Zach, do you remember anything about being diagnosed?
I remember whenever my mom found out about this, we were watching a movie, and I was going up to the bathroom so much, and my mom was taking like this class on type 2, and they gave the symptoms of type 1. And so I was going up to the bathroom a lot, and then she noticed that. Mm-hmm. And so right when we got home after the movie, we checked my blood sugar. I was 400 something. And that's it. Basically, I was just going to the bathroom a lot. Nothing serious other than that.
At the time. Nancy, why were you looking into type 2?
Well, my mom had been diagnosed with type 2 for many years and just decided to take a class on her diet and how to possibly reverse some of it, and so I just went with her to support her. And yeah, they were just talking about the signs and symptoms. And that week, which was the week before, my husband had also been diagnosed with type 2. And so I was like, you know what? I think we need to have a meter in the house since his doctor had never recommended he have one. So wow. I bought one and just started recognizing some of the symptoms.
Nancy, what movie were you watching?
Oh, Zachary, what was it?
Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you remember the movie at all?
Faintly. Some parts I don't remember because I had to get up.
Also wasn't a great movie.
Yeah.
At least it didn't ruin. There was when Arden was diagnosed. My daughter was diagnosed a long time ago. Zach, she was 2, and that was 2006. And back then, to watch a movie when you weren't in your home or at a movie theater, you had to have like a little portable DVD player. So we had one of those, and my daughter watched, hold on. Excuse me, I apologize. My daughter watched Sky High over and over and over again. And it took years afterwards. If it would come on TV, it would make my wife really sad. And so, because it was on in the hospital, like, you know, as my daughter was hooked up to all these tubes and everything. And just recently they watched it together again. And I thought it was a big triumph for my wife, actually. I don't think you're going to have the same problem with Superman versus whatever.
We probably will not watch it again.
That was why I thought you wouldn't have a problem, because I don't think you're going to watch it again. How could they make those Marvel movies so well, Zach, and nobody at DC figure out how to make a movie?
I have no idea.
I don't either. It's fascinating. It's just like they're right there. I know you don't want to copy them, but like you could, like, can you glean something from it? Like, I don't know. How do you ruin a Superman movie? I don't know. They did. So anyway, all right, Nancy. So everybody in your life gets diabetes of one form or another all at the same time. And did you guys think like was it like a horror movie? Was everybody looking around going like, oh, I wonder who's next? Or you were focused on Zach at that point?
Yeah, I was focused on Zach. You know, I mean, we're overweight, kind of, you know, my husband and I, and not that my kids were really severely overweight, but of course I was thinking, man, what did I do? You know, because I didn't know at the beginning if it was type 1 or type 2 or what, you know, and so it was at first a lot of guilt until, you know, the next day when they said, oh no, this is type 1. This has nothing to do with anything you did. And then it was just focusing on learning about that.
Did you have trouble believing that, Zach? Like, did you think it was something you did, or how did you feel about it?
I didn't I didn't think about it very much. I didn't know what was going on at the time. I just, the question that I asked right when we got like to there, and then they said I had type 1. I didn't know it was like a permanent thing. And so I'm like, wait, so how long do I have to deal with this? That's probably the only thing. I was just curious, like how I had to deal with it, how long I had to deal with it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Basically it.
I'm always interested about this. I don't get to talk to enough younger kids that have recollection. So did someone explain it to you, or did you figure it out through the conversations?
So they had this separate room in the hospital for us to learn stuff about type 1, like what foods have carbs, what foods don't have carbs, the fat and protein. And we were like learning carb counting, kind of.
Yeah.
And then we didn't really use it in the hospital, though, because we were just on shots. But it was probably just for the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, isn't that something, Nancy, that did you have any knowledge that he didn't understand what was happening to that level?
You know, at 8, and he's a pretty happy-go-lucky kid, still is kind of, but he never voiced not understanding that it was forever until we got home, and it was a couple of days later. And that broke my heart, you know, whenever I had to tell him, no, this is going to be forever, this until there's a cure. But I do not remember him saying anything at the hospital.
That had to be more upsetting than paying for Batman versus Superman. Pay full price.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's terrible. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's, I mean, do you hear it, Zach, as we're talking about it, how bizarre that is? Like not unexpected and nothing you did wrong, obviously, but your mom and the doctors all imagine, they make this assumption that people understand. You know what I mean? That, oh, I know what type 1 diabetes is. I don't have to explain it granularly to this kid, but this is never going to go away. It's an impactful thing. Do you remember that conversation at all, Zach, when your mom told you that this is forever?
I don't fully remember it, but I do remember she told me like, yeah, it is going to be forever. We just need to manage like how we deal with it, and that's basically all I remember. I don't have uh, a lot of that conversation.
Yeah, I have to tell you that very recently I had a conversation with my son who's 21 where
Mm.
I still found it upsetting when we were just talking about health in general. And I said, I forget how we were in the car and he was struggling with something. I said, you're lucky that there's, a medication for this thing. I said, because a number of years ago there wouldn't have been. And, this would have just been a burden you would have carried forever. And I said something like a couple hundred years ago, the group would have been just asking you if you wanted to be put down or if you wanted to just be left behind as we moved on to the next encampment or wherever we went. I was like, you have no idea how far things have come. And that conversation led to us just saying like, there was a point in time in modern, not so long ago history where even if you broke your leg, you were probably dead.
Right.
Like just like, what are you going to do? It's crazy how far we've come in such a short amount of time, but how much, especially when we're younger, we just think that the body we got is just going to be like this forever and nothing's ever going to happen to it. So I'm comforted to know that Zach doesn't really remember the conversation that much.
Right. Me too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, how would you describe yourself now, 5 years in? Are you comfortable with diabetes? Is it a problem for you? How do you think about it?
It's not a big problem. Sometimes, like if my blood sugar is low, I can't think straight. Like say I'm at school and I'm doing a test and my blood sugar is low, I need to do something. But like at home, it's pretty normal. It's just like one click away on my phone. And we do need to do carb stuff though, but it's pretty easy.
Amongst your friends, is it talked about or is it just sort of a thing that exists?
It's not really talked about in my friend groups, no.
If you got incredibly low amongst friends, do you think they'd have any idea how to help you?
A few of them maybe, but because I've mentioned it once, but we don't talk about it. They know that I have it, and I think I've told them how I deal with it, but I'm not too sure if they fully know.
Gotcha. And Nancy, leaving the hospital, what kind of technology did they have for you?
We did not get Dexcom until he was about 6 months in, I think, and of course MDI. I think we didn't even start with pens. We started with syringes and vials. And
Yeah.
My husband, he's an IT guy, so he made an app for an Android phone at the time, just so we could put in his carb ratios and stuff. And so it was a very simple thing. Only we used it really. And, so we used that and the grandparents would use that, to help when watching him. But we got Dexcom about 6 months and Omnipod, was that a year in, Zach? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a year in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like using a pump, Zach, versus injecting?
Oh, it is way better. It like getting the shots over and over again. It's extremely like, what's the word? Tedious or
Ooh,
yeah.
Zach,
It just happens.
We're on the same wavelength. I was thinking you were going to say tiresome. So basically, you and I have synced up already in only 12 minutes. I know how you're thinking. Excellent. This is great. So just repetitive and cumbersome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the pump, like it was replaced 3 days. Well, before it was replaced 3 days, it was like one day, and then we had to change it because of the insulin we were using. But now we have like U200, and we are now changing it 3 days, which is way better.
You're using a how do they, Nancy, how do they categorize that? Do they call it stronger, like potency? How do they talk about those insulins?
I've just always thought about it as that one as a double strength. And I asked for it. They didn't really bring it up. So I don't know if there's a particular way they, talk about them.
How you think about it though. So for people who don't, I mean, we never really talk about this, right? There's U200, there's U400 too. Is that right?
I think maybe U500.
500?
I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. But
I could be wrong.
Yeah, Zachary he's always used a lot of insulin and had high basal rates. And we were going through pods like before 48 hours was even up.
Because the pod holds 200 units and that just wasn't enough for you, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. He was about 100 units a day total. And after we started looping a couple of years ago, and about a year in, or maybe a little less, we were seeing a new doctor because the other one didn't really want to cooperate with my requests. Mm-hmm. So we were seeing a new doctor, and I think he understood that we had a very good handle on diabetes and how we were managing. And so he went ahead and let us have the U200, and it has made a world of difference in just how you don't think of changing a pod every 2 days as being cumbersome, but it's just allowed more freedom and less thinking about diabetes. So it's been really good for Zach, I think.
Nancy, can you give me some context on why Zach needs more insulin? Or do you not know?
I'm not really sure. He's been always involved in some sort of sport. Usually, he used to play baseball, but not very competitively. It wasn't like a all the time practicing kind of thing, but possibly because of his inactivity, or I really just don't, I have no idea, but that's just the way it's always been for him.
I have to ask you, do you get judgment from the doctor when you ask for it? Or do you know what I mean? Like, is there an underlying inference of like, you're taking in too many carbs?
Well, with the previous doctor, he was more concerned with, well, why do we want to change anything? Because Zach's A1C had been coming down. At that time, before looping, we started listening to your podcast, and I read Sugar Surfing around the same time, and his A1C was coming down, and I want to say it a few years ago, his A1C was maybe 6.8, something like that. Right. And then whenever we would ask the doctor about it, it was about changing the insulin. First, I asked for Fiasp, and he's like, oh, no, we're not doing Fiasp, even though it had already been approved for the pod. And, but he never mentioned anything about, oh, he's using too much insulin. And Zach's never been a very heavy carb eater.
Yeah, Nancy, I want to say, like, I'm not saying that was my thought either. I'm just trying to see like where this conversation might end up going if you start having it cold in the doctor's office. So can you, like, for context, Zach, do you know about how many carbs you eat in the course of a day? You may be eligible for a free 10-day trial of the Dexcom G6. It's called Hello Dexcom. Head to my link, dexcom.com/juicebox. When you get there, everything you need to know about the Dexcom G6 is laid out beautifully. How to get started with the Dexcom, information about zero finger sticks, how you can get your glucose readings right on your smart device, customizable alerts and alarms. Everything you need to know is right there. If you scroll down a little bit, you can actually get more information, get started. And if you decide at the end, you're like, oh, I don't know, not sure. And you go go up to the browser window and you close the window. Ooh, the browser knows it is magical. It says, before you go, are you interested in a free Dexcom G6 sample? Our 10-day trial empowers you to make more informed decisions. There's more text, and you click on request a sample. That's the trick for requesting the Hello Dexcom kit. So head on over, get started today, check out Hello Dexcom, do whatever makes you comfortable. Dexcom.com/juicebox. Now on to Omnipod, because you might be ready to ditch those daily injections or send your current pump packing. If you are, maybe it's time to try Omnipod, the tubeless, wireless, continuous insulin management system. The first step in all of this is just to check your insurance benefits. So whether you're looking to make a switch or just get more information, Omnipod wants to help you, and they'll do that at omnipod.com/juicebox. You just scroll down to the forms and fill out the information. It really is that easy. When you get there, you'll find out, am I eligible for a free 30-day trial of the Omnipod DASH? Goodness sakes alive, you may be. Go find out. Now here's what I think. I think you're waiting for that Omnipod 5. You want that algorithm. It's so close. I just ordered Arden's recently. Well, it's just between you and I, but I did that. And maybe you're waiting and you're not sure. But you don't have to, because Omnipod makes you a promise, okay? There's no need to wait for the next big thing, because with Omnipod Promise, you can upgrade to Omnipod's latest technologies for no additional cost as soon as they're available to you and covered by insurance. Terms and conditions apply. But what I'm saying is, go ahead and get the Dash now. And if you want to move to the 5 later, you can. It's not going to be a problem. Omnipod promises. For full safety risk information and free trial terms and conditions, and for full safety risk information about Omnipod Promise terms and conditions, you can also visit omnipod.com/juicebox. There are links to Dexcom, Omnipod, and all the sponsors in the show notes of the audio app you're listening in right now, or at juiceboxpodcast.com. When you support the sponsors, you're supporting the podcast, so click on those links, please.
Course of a day, like on a regular day, I'd probably eat maybe 80 to 100 carbs.
Yeah, see, that's not crazy, right? Like, there's nothing crazy about that. Like, and I'm going to do some math for a second. That's always fun when I do math on a podcast. Let's just say it's 100 carbs. We'll just say that for fun. Do you know what your insulin to carb ratio is? 1 unit covers.
Let me check.
I'm interested. Nancy, do you know? Don't say if you know. But
Well,
you know.
well, if he was on U100,
Right.
it would be 1 to 3 or 1 to 4.
Okay.
And I, like, looking at Night Scout, I know that his regular average intake of carbs is about 150 a day.
Okay.
Still not very high, I don't think.
Arden's 1 to 4.5, I think. So if we divide it by just 4 for fun, then 25 units for 100 carbs. If he's taking in 150 a day, what is that? 35, 40-ish. And then his basal. What's your basal rate, Zach?
Basal rate is 17.8 units for
The day?
a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's of U200 though. So
Right.
if, we're doubling that.
Yeah. So
If
he
you-
35.6.
35 divided by 24. So your basal would be like 145. And there's nothing crazy about any of this. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I do have to say though, he started playing tennis over the summer.
Right.
And we have seen some amazing reduction. It was crazy the amount of reduction we've had to make over the last several months.
Yeah.
So maybe it was the inactivity.
That's crazy. Zach, I can't hit a tennis ball to save my life. You can do it?
Decently, yes.
Yeah. I can't do it at all. I have fairly good hand-eye coordination, and if you hit a tennis ball at me with a tennis racket, I don't hit it with a tennis. I can't find it. It's just ugly and horrible. So okay. So do you think he needs the U200 still? Not that getting rid of it helps anything or hurts anything, but do you think he could get away with 100 at this point?
He might, but some of the things that I've noticed that I really like is, it takes half as long to get a bolus in with the Omnipod. If we were talking about, let's say it's a large meal and it's a 20 unit bolus of U100, it's going to take 16, 18 minutes or something like that to get the bolus in. Using U200, it's half the time.
Yeah. The Omnipod delivers the insulin more slowly, I think, so that it has time to disperse once it's under the skin, right? It gives it time so you don't get tunneling and it doesn't come flying back out. So that's a great point. So just mass of liquid or volume of liquid is in half. Oh, cool. All right. That makes sense. I like that idea. I've never considered this before. Like, it's funny. Like, I mean, Arden's basal is probably like 1 right now an hour, and she's 1 to 4.5. So I don't think her insulin use is just really that much, like her needs aren't that much different than Zach's really. But you're making a lot of good points. That's cool. All right. I don't want to belabor the point. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Zach, did you notice your needs change as you got more active, or did someone have to tell you? Did you put 2 and 2 together?
I'm pretty sure I put 2 and 2 together. No one like specifically told me, but like people did hint. Well, my blood sugar hinted at like me like needing less insulin because I kept going low when playing tennis, and so I guess that meant like I needed less insulin before meals. Wait, no. So I'd need less insulin on the meals before activity so I don't drop.
Okay. All right. And you're looping, right, Zach?
Uh-huh.
Do you have to make any overrides for tennis, or is the loop handling it with your current settings?
Yeah, we have a tennis override or the very active override, but it varies. One has less insulin, but it depends on what my blood sugar is going into it. So
how long before your activity do you set the override?
Maybe 10 to 15 minutes prior.
Do you shut it off when you're done, or do you like it to end before you're finished?
We set a timer on the override for 2 hours so that it will just turn off automatically.
How long's tennis?
About 2 or 1.5 hours.
Okay. All right. Excellent. You figured that out on your own, or did your mom help you?
My mom helped.
Yeah. How much does your mom still do day to day? And do you like that, or do you like, what do you want to have happen as far as control of your insulin?
I'm comfortable with her helping me because I'm not too sure about like if my blood sugar is low, my blood sugar is on, like, I don't fully know like what my blood sugar is going to do at times. Like sometimes when there's a meal, we use like 3 hour and then 4 hour, but we split the carbs up. So sometimes I think it's all taco, but there's fat and protein, which we need to account for, which mom helps me with.
Yeah. Oh, that's excellent. And you're happy for your mom to be helping?
Yeah.
Okay. I would be too, by the way. I would not if I was you, I'd let her do it as long as she wants.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of young still, but do you think about college?
Uh,
Not yet, right?
Not really.
Yeah.
The one thing I've been thinking about is at nighttime, whenever I'm by myself, it's going to be hard to control my blood sugar.
Okay. So that's a concern of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter's been messing with learning some boluses this week, and I said to my wife, I was like, it's going to kill me. Because she goes to bed. She's like, I did it. And then I'm up for like another 2 hours fixing what she screwed up, which isn't too bad. She's figuring it out. And then I just kind of go back to her later and I'm like, hey, right here, I kind of point to her graph a little bit. And I was like, you just needed to do this, or it's Halloween now coming up. And there seems to be these little bite-sized Milky Way dark bars in a little candy dish. And she's been like doing flybys on those once in a while, and she's like, I bolus for it. I'm like, when? She's like, when I ate it. I was like, all right, well, if you pre-bolus, daddy can sleep. Do you have trouble with pre-bolusing at all, Zach, or do you see the benefits?
So I see why we need to pre-bolus, but it does sometimes get on my nerve because like I really want to eat something, like I'm hungry, but then I have to pre-bolus because the insulin needs to go in so that the carbs and insulin are like meeting at the same point instead of the carbs going in first.
Zach, do you know that, and don't get me wrong, okay, like I'm not weepy, but I just got like a little happy sadness inside of me because you're using my words that I'm assuming you got through your mom. Is that how that all happened, Nancy?
I don't know. Actually, we met you one time when you were in Atlanta for a JDRF summit.
May I say real quickly, I was fantastic that day. Am I wrong?
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But so I'm not sure if of course I have mentioned it also, but maybe he's remembering when you went and talked to the youth there that day.
Oh, Zach, you were in that room?
Yes, I was. And those are the words that I remember you like talking about. You had this board with the graphs and you saying like, oh, we need to make the carbs meet the insulin because if the carbs go in first, then the insulin won't have enough time to like get rid of all the carbs.
Zach, did that stuck with you all this time? That was before COVID, right? That was right before COVID.
Yeah.
Zach, I'm like a hero, aren't I?
Yeah.
I'm just teasing you. No, I really enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite things about going and giving talks is that I like saying it to the parents and then saying it to the children separately because, Zach, this is helpful. You ready? You can answer a question for me. The reason I do that is because it's my expectation that when you get home, if I don't talk to you, like if you're just off in a room coloring and I realize you're 14, but you know what I mean? Like if they stick you in some kid's room, right? And then your mom's off listening to me and I'm all like bold with insulin, tug of war. And I'm saying stuff like that. Then you get home and you haven't heard me. Then when she starts saying it, you probably think, this lady with her ideas about my insulin again. Right. But my idea was if I tell the kids too, that when the parents are talking about it, there'll be some common starting ground. And did that actually work?
Yeah, I think so. Right after the entire like summit, we got in the car, we talked about what we learned. And I'm pretty sure my mom brought up your thing, but I knew what she was talking about because you were talking about it with my group. And so that sparked conversation and we talked about that.
I'm so happy. Really, mainly, I'm just amazed that something I thought of actually worked. But because, Zach, listen, when you do things differently than other people, here's a life lesson for you. I know it's great when older people tell you stuff like this. The first time, I don't know if you've ever heard the words "fake it till you make it." I think it's an AA reference, so I'm hoping you haven't heard it yet. But it just means like, be confident about things, and until you are the person you want to be, say you're that person. And the first time that I spoke somewhere, I said, well, I would like to. So I don't know how common this is. Most people like go to something and they speak for like a half an hour and they leave. Zach, I'm not getting on an airplane, let alone a car, to talk somewhere for a half an hour because I'm chatty. And so I need more time, right? So I tell people, so when I set up the speaking events, I do a morning talk, I do a mid-afternoon talk, an afternoon talk that's a Q&A, and then I go talk to the kids. I speak 4 times during the course of the day. That's not because somebody told me that was the right way to do it, or because I even knew that was the right way to do it. It's what I imagined was the right way. Go in, talk to people in the morning, give them like a kind of like a general overview of the ideas and a couple of samples so they can think like, oh, cool, I would like to do that. Maybe I'll find this guy again. Speak again at lunch because you've got everybody captive, right? And then, and then you go over like the finer details so that they can think like, oh, well, that guy did it. Maybe I could do it. And then do a Q&A later so that once they've had time to kind of ruminate, they can come back and ask questions. And then my last idea, talk to the kids so that when they get home, there's less resistance. It's always my assumption that if you're coming to hear somebody talk about diabetes, you're not there because things are going great. You know what I mean? Like, people with like 5 A1Cs aren't like running around asking people how insulin works and stuff like that. And then, and so when I thought of that, Zach, Zach, do you ever curse? I don't want to get you in trouble.
Rarely.
Yeah, I just pulled that out of my ass. You know what I mean, man? Like I was on the phone with somebody and they're like, what do you want to do? And don't tell anybody this. I made all that up while I was on the phone. It isn't something like I masterminded in a lab. I said it out loud to somebody, and as I was saying it, I thought, ooh, that makes sense. And then I paused, like, I wonder if she's going to let me do this. And then she did. And I was like, oh, and then I went and did it. I'm like, oh, I think that worked. And then I did it again and again and again. Yours is the last time I ever did it because of COVID.
Wow.
And I'm just really like, I'm thrilled it worked out for you. What is your A1C, Zach?
Was it 5.6 last time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, that's legit. Congratulations. Seriously, man. Good job. It's not easy. Like, I know it can start feeling like, oh, this is how it goes and it's normal, but there are a lot of people walking around would, they'd murder you for that A1C, Zach. It's you know what I mean? You know what I mean, man? There are people would still, they'd at least break into your house for it. Like, that's a legit thing. That's well done. You think that's you and your mom? Are you guys a team?
I think my entire family, other than my one sibling. But yeah.
All right, real quick. So some siblings are helpful and one of them isn't?
Well, I only have one sibling.
Oh, okay.
They kind of help, but
I thought I was just hoping to get you to badmouth a sibling, but since that's not what's going to happen, we can move on. That's fine.
His brother is 2 years older than him, and he's almost 16, so not too involved in being helpful about his diabetes.
I don't know. I mean, do you really expect your brother to be helpful?
No, not really.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, do you need help?
In certain areas, yes, like the carb counting and like splitting the carbs up with like the long absorption time and the short absorption time. Okay. But other than that part, no, not really.
And you don't need help like from your. I mean, what would your brother help you with?
I don't know. He would probably just be staring at my phone. Wait, why are you doing taco? And that's 3-hour absorption time. So.
Yeah. How do You're not eating tacos.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be.
3 tacos.
How are you overnight? Is there stability with the loop overnight, Nancy?
Yeah, my husband takes the night shift. I'm going to be honest, and he's just a night owl, and I at 10 o'clock, I'm out. And, but, you know, he was having some lows, like when I was talking about, we've had to reduce his insulin basal rate a pretty good bit. And he was having some lows, but overall, yeah, he's pretty stable overnight.
Cool. That's excellent. As far as you know, but you're asleep.
Well, I know, believe me.
Nancy, how did you work that out? Is it something you can say in front of your son or no?
Listen, this is how it all just happily worked out. So, all
right, I think you're full of crap, but okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Zach, I'm going to ask you like a ham-fisted question that I don't usually ask on the podcast because I don't like things to say. I don't like my podcast to sound like everybody else's. But for a half a second, if somebody asked you to describe what it's like to have diabetes, what would you tell them?
That's a difficult question. I would say it's it's basically life, but just a little more numbers, and you have to manage your life like a little more. Well, okay. Like it. This is a difficult question.
It's all right. Take your time.
I'd say, I mean, for the first few years, I mean, it's difficult to like comprehend like what you guys need to do, because like first there's carbs, then there's the basal rates, like for how much you need throughout the entire day, even without the carbs. Then you need to add the carbs with the bolus. And then you have to figure out the bolus from the carbs. But after you get past that stage, it's pretty easy. All you need to do there is just like add the carbs up. But it's not that hard to live with. It gives me some perks too.
Go ahead. What?
Oh, okay. Perks, like meeting you.
Oh,
or
yeah, I see what you're saying. You don't have to kiss my ass, Zach. Just is there anything good about having diabetes, or are you just trying to be polite? What's going on?
I mean, it's true.
Oh, yeah. I know, but for people listening, it sounds weird. They don't know how great I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You met me in person. You know, it's an amazing experience. Did you hear angels singing when you saw me, or no? Did that not happen?
Yeah, they were in the background, like in the corners of the room. And then like there was just like spotlight on you in the middle of the room.
A lot of people report that. That's why I asked. So,
yeah.
How did you like Jenny? Nancy, how did you like
Jenny?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed listening to her. Definitely.
Oh, not as much excitement for Jenny.
We were already doing really well with A1C and managing and everything. And so I don't know if I could take away as much as other people. And maybe that's making me sound like I'm full of myself. I don't know. But, but definitely I enjoyed, listening to her. Cool.
I have to admit, that one blew my mind a little bit, the Atlanta one, because there were a lot of people there that traveled a great distance to get there, and it flipped me out a little bit. So, I was like, wow, like I remember before one of the talks, we were talking before we got going, and people were saying how far they had come, and some people drove like from different states and multiple hours, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Gosh. Now you think that, but it's a lot of pressure. You're like, God, I better say something important here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Imagine if I freeze up, Zach, and all of a sudden, like, people are like, hey, I drove here from Tennessee. What are you doing? say something. But there were a number of people there that were there to meet me, which that was the first time I had experienced that on on such a significant level. Like that so many people told me I just came here so we could say hello. And that's when I recognized, it's one of the times I recognized how impactful the podcast had been, that people would do that was kind of staggering to me, actually. And I wasn't boring, Zach?
No.
Excellent.
You were talking about an insulin cell and a carb cell, like doing a tug of war.
I am entertaining. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So Nancy, then most of what you learned through the podcast?
And
you said you read Sugar Surfing as well?
Sugar Surfing, they're very similar, and just the way you think about it. And I do have to say I'm pretty disappointed with the education that you get from like the endocrinologists. And, at the hospital, they give you the don't die advice, but I felt like there had to be more because it was such a roller coaster with their instruction.
Right.
And so at like a year and a half in, I just started seeking out whatever I could find information on how to do it, and found your podcast. And I joined a bunch of Facebook groups and yeah.
Was that helpful? Like meeting other people online?
Sometimes helpful. And there are some groups that are helpful and some that are more people just asking for help, and
they don't always have the answers, you're saying?
Not all groups are the same. No, there are some really great ones. And I do feel like the podcast Juicebox group it's been great. I try to reach out and help people whenever they need it. Of course, we're part of the Looped group on Facebook. And I used to be a mentor on there, and I'm still mentoring several people, but just kind of was overwhelmed with how many requests. So I don't know how you do it. But so I try to help people mainly now on there, but I did learn some on there too.
That's interesting. Tell me a little more about that. Like so you're trying to help people online. So I'm assuming you amassed this knowledge and you suddenly realized, like, oh, I can explain this to other people and this would be helpful to them. And that's something you wanted to do.
Yeah, I felt like I would feel bad hearing about people's roller coasters or, just struggles, and knowing that there's a way to avoid it. I wanted to share and help them. And, of course, with Looped and with DIY Loop, and kind of being responsible for making your own setting changes anyway, because most endos won't really help with that yet.
Yeah.
Just helping them, following their kids' night scout and being in regular communication about that. I just feel a responsibility to help people.
How did it become overwhelming?
Well, because when I mentor someone, I can't just look at their night scout once a day. I would be looking at every meal and communicating with the parent most of the time, hey, what did you have to eat? Well, how did you enter the absorption? And when you're doing that for 5 or 6 people at a time every day, it can get overwhelming. And right before Christmas last year, I just decided I needed to remove my name from the mentorship tab and just kind of continue helping who I was already helping.
Okay.
And so that's every once in a while, if I see somebody asking questions and I feel led to help them, I'll send them a message, but I don't get more requests.
Gotcha. Did you find that people wanted to stay with you longer than you felt like they needed you?
Sometimes. And I think it's been a learning process for me of how to impart more of my knowledge about it and let them take over more.
Yeah.
Instead of just continually just helping them or telling them how to make the adjustments.
I find that after you're at it for a while, it's very it's more impactful to ask them questions that will lead to the answers you were going to give them, so that they can find the answer on their own, or at least feel like they did. And then they can start, it's easier for them to wire it together. They start putting 2 and 2 together easier. Like I do it on the Facebook group too. Like there's sometimes people ask questions and I know the answer. And instead of telling them the answer, I ask them a question that leads them to the answer. And then you're not just teaching them, you're teaching the other people that are watching as well. But how do I do it? I mean, I don't say yes to everybody, right? There are people who email me that I'll get, like, I sometimes answer an email 6 weeks after I receive it. And the trick to that is you have to let go of your guilt. Did you feel real driven by guilt when people ask questions? Like you had to get back to them, or it was unfair if you didn't, like that kind of stuff, or no?
There is no not getting back to them for me. Yeah. So definitely, I just, I feel led to help them, and so, I guess there was guilt if other things were going on and I couldn't, so.
Zach, can I ask you, and you can be honest, your mom won't be upset if you're honest. Did it bother you that she was helping other people, or did you like it? Or were you not even aware of it?
So I was aware of it. I was aware of it. I just, I thought it was fine. I thought it was good that she was helping other people.
Yeah. Yeah. You just, you didn't have why isn't she helping me?
No, she helped me as well. Yeah. But she just had other people to help as well.
Was it noticeable? Like, it sounds like she was spread a little thin. Did you feel like that? Like, was she like at 8:00 at night instead of where she normally is? Was she helping someone or on the phone with a person or something like that?
Sometimes whenever, like, late at night, whenever she was dealing with one family, sometimes she just tells me like what's been going on with them, and like she kind of complains, or not complain, but like tells me what their problem is.
Right.
And I think it's kind of funny, but I mean, it's not funny. They do have a problem, but.
What do you think he means, Nancy?
No, I was just thinking, I was venting like, why aren't they getting this? But yeah,
I would say that one of the things I'm more proud of is you're being attacked. Zach, get under the bed and lock the door.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Hold on.
Wolf? Are you in Canada? Zach, what's going on? Zach, you're not Canadian, are you?
No.
No. All right. Where'd you get a wolf from? What is that? What kind of dog is that?
Oh, it's a golden doodle. My dog is crazy. He runs around slamming into like the couches, the table, anything he can see.
They don't tell you that when you're buying the dog.
Nope.
What do they say? It's hypoallergenic?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Doesn't shed?
That's exactly why we got it. My brother is allergic to dogs and cats.
Oh. So, Nancy, you get a dog that doesn't shed and is hypoallergenic, but it runs into the furniture?
What is it?
I said...
What?
Zach said the dog
I missed that.
Zach said the dog runs into everything. It's crazy, he said.
Runs into everything. Yeah. He does shed.
I thought they weren't supposed to shed.
Yeah, well, we thought so too, but we paid a lot of money for a shedding dog.
And it's got a stupid name. No offense to other people who have one, but Golden Doodle. How do you say that with a straight face to people? Hey, what's that dog? Oh, it's a Golden Doodle.
And he's black. So
Really?
yeah.
Was he supposed to be another color? I'm about to say, did you buy him when he was black? I know he's alive. I'm supposed to say get him, but did you, I don't know.
No, we picked him. He was black, but
Okay.
his, the poodle in him is more black. So, he just carried that trait, but he's still golden retriever and poodle mix.
My mom's poodle tried to bite me when I was a baby. She got rid of it right away. She's on my team. On my team. You know where that dog went? Right to the moon. I don't even know. I think they put it in the trunk of a car and drove it into a lake or something. It was the 70s, Zach. You know what I mean? You could kill people in the 70s. It didn't even matter. You were allowed to smoke in a restaurant in the 70s, Zach. Zach, name how many people do you know that smoke cigarettes, Zach?
Not many.
Right.
Not a lot.
Right. When I was your age, everyone I knew smoked cigarettes. Adults, children, babies, puppies, didn't matter. Everyone had cigarettes. Now they don't. Can you imagine sitting in a restaurant with like 4 people smoking at a table?
Now they vape. So
do they do it in a they do it indoors?
Well, no, I can't remember if vaping is illegal indoors too or not.
Zach, you're not vaping, are
you? No.
Zach, what if I asked you a string of embarrassing questions in front of your mom right now?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I won't do it. Don't worry. It's not a big deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You got your eye on any ladies? Anything going on there?
No.
Nothing? Not yet?
No.
You thinking of the future, or how you thinking of this? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be presumptuous. Any guys? Anything like that?
No.
No? All right. Well, let me know if something pops up.
Okay.
You know
I'll email you.
I think, send a note. That's a good idea. Because what I need is the government coming and finding an email from a 15-year-old that tells me that he is interested in somebody. Right? Because that won't look weird or anything. Never email me, Zach. What are you talking about? Stop it.
I'm joking. I was being sarcastic. I'm not going to email you about my relationship status.
If you do, I'm calling your mom and I'm telling her there's something wrong with you.
Okay.
Nancy, is there any other autoimmune in your family?
My husband has hypothyroid.
That's a yes. What else we got?
Yes.
Oh, well, is it Hashimoto's?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I had my mother has hypothyroid and both of her parents had it. But nothing else that I can think of.
Zach, your thyroid works okay?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure.
We just had it checked. It's good. Sorry.
Good. I'm pretty sure. Is you said brother, right? You have a brother. Does he think, do you believe, Nancy, that he's concerned about diabetes or anything like that?
No, I don't believe so. There have been, over the course of 5 years, maybe once or twice that he's exhibited some sort of symptom, and I checked his blood sugar and he was completely fine. Also, we've done TrialNet several years ago and he didn't have any of the markers.
Okay.
So I think he's not worried about it.
Any anger there, Zach, that it's you and not him?
Well, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I got some benefits from it that he didn't, but no, I don't really think that he deserved it. I don't think either of us deserved it. But
yeah,
got stuck with me.
I didn't expect you were going to say yes, Zach. Actually, if you would have said yes, I would have signaled to your mom that you needed psychiatric care. But I just wanted to get the answer from you. The bigger idea is that that it's not. All right, Zach, I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm hoping that the people listening can hear that it's not such a big deal to you and that you're okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And so that's why I'm asking you questions like that. Not so that you'll,
Yeah.
not so that you'll, but if you have some deep, dark secret, like, I mean, probably tell somebody, you know what I mean? If you can't tell your mom, tell another professional, something like that. They used to say when I was a kid, tell another adult, but I got to be honest with you. I've met a lot of adults. I don't think I would do that either. I think I would, like tell a teacher, but then every day I turn on the news and there's a teacher like having sex with a kid. And I'm like, I don't know, like, how do I know it's not one of them when I'm telling them? You know what I mean? So not that many teachers do that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying tell a qualified professional if you have any problems, a doctor, something like that. All right, Zach, you promise?
Yeah, I promise.
I think Zach and I are both sarcasming each other into a hole. What do you think of that?
I think it's true.
Yeah. Where do you get this sarcasm from, Zach? I don't even know if people can read it. Yours is so tight and quiet. But is it from your mom? Is it from your mom or your dad?
I'd say from my brother, but that's not true because it can't. But it's probably from my dad's side.
You think, Nancy? Is that
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
Hard to be married to a sarcastic person, Nancy? Yes or no?
At times, yes.
Do you ever wonder sometimes, like, why is he joking about everything?
Oh, it's so annoying at times.
My wife's like, this isn't funny. I was like, well, to you, because it's happening to you. But to the rest of us, it's hilarious. So she's like, you're ganging up on me. I'm like, well, you're the one that dropped the food on your shirt. Like, I don't know what you want us to do. Should we just sit here and pretend it didn't happen? You know what I mean? That's like, that's what you got to do. Zach, do you bust your parents' balls or how are you with that stuff?
No. What in what scenarios?
All of them.
Like,
I don't know. I've raised my children to be so free with themselves. Like, I mean, are there times when kids don't say anything? That'd be great. Maybe I should have done that instead.
Well, most of the time I don't say anything.
You just think it?
Sometimes, like, if they like get on my nerves, like my dad, if he makes a really, 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 really bad joke, or like it just, sometimes, but not really.
Do you know it took my wife 2 years to stop doing this thing? My kids would come up to her with a video and say, Mom, check this out. And my wife's first question was, who is that? And my kids would go, Mom, I don't know everybody on the internet. And that was always how it went. I think they were trying to, like, but she always assumed that she was being shown a video of somebody that they knew. It literally took her like 2 years to stop asking. And they were unmerciful on her about it. Like, just, there were times where I would see the phone go in her face and they'd be like, Mom, check this out. And she'd go, who is that? And Arden will take the phone away and say, never mind. Like, you're not allowed.
Oh my gosh.
You're not allowed to look at it now. like you blew it. You're not allowed to have it. Are you that harsh to your mom or no? No,
he's not.
He's not harsh. Gotcha.
No,
well, that's nice.
Not at all.
You keep being a good boy, Zach. You understand me? Zach, let me ask you another question. If Luke,
is he there?
Did Zach disappear? Oh wait, we killed. No, hold on. His connection. His connection died. I'll get him back.
Sorry.
No, what happened? You okay?
Yeah, my phone has this time limit thing on my apps, and it's
Nancy. Zach, let's talk about that for a second. They have a time limit on your apps. They're limiting your internet usage. Tell her how you feel about that.
Okay. Hey, Mom.
Yeah.
I have something to tell you.
Okay.
He told me to say this.
No, I didn't. You just tell her how you feel. I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Okay. So it's kind of annoying that when
for everyone listening, his app cut him off again. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
No, that's hilarious. I think we should leave him off now. He's being punished. And we should now, Nancy, tell me all the things you hate about that kid. Go ahead.
My goodness.
What's all the stuff
I'm just
you
trying
don't
to
approve
protect my kid.
What are you trying to are you trying to keep him from the porn? What are you doing exactly? Because I think an hour is enough time.
Right. I'm just trying to get him to do some homework and not be on Zoom all the time.
Oh, I see. Oh, God. I think Arden would burn the house down if I did that.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great if she was chatting with some boy or something or a friend and her phone just shut off?
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, she'd come in a room with a stick and hit me. I just have to be honest.
Do you want me to? He's in the room here now.
I see that, yeah.
Let me see.
Zach, can he hear me? Zach, can you hear me through the headphones?
Zach.
Here. Put these headphones on while your mom's fixing this. She can't hear us now while she's fixing your phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, listen to me. This is insulting. You have to do something about this. All right? You seem like a reasonable kid. I don't think you're using your phone for harm. This needs to be fixed. You got to get out of this, okay? I'm going to try to help you when we get back on, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Give her the headset back.
Okay.
Tell her you love her. Say, I love you, Mom. There you go. He didn't hear that part. Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, Nancy. You're doing the right thing. You're a good mom. Stop him from using the phone. But at what age are we going to let him use it for longer? How long?
It's coming soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At what time limit does your phone cut you off?
Well, definitely, he's still in middle school. Mm-hmm. So he might get some more freedom when high school comes, like his brother. And we'll see. Definitely before college.
All right, Zach.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, Zach. Tell your mom how this makes you feel. Go ahead.
Okay. Kind of annoys me that, like, right when I'm online or, like, I'm doing something, like, say I was playing a game, it just cuts me off at any time. Sometimes I don't even know when, but, like, it just cuts me off. Like, say I was in a call, like now, I'm just in the middle of a sentence, I get cut off. Then I need to ask for time. But then whenever I ask for time, I have to do something first. But okay, I'll do the thing. And then I get a little bit more time.
Right. Zach, you're not doing I'm trying to say. Hold on a second. Do your friends mock you unmercifully about this? Do they treat you like lesser than because this happens to you?
Sometimes.
Zach, have you ever been bullied about this?
No.
No? All right. Well, I'm glad you haven't
been
bullied.
He has way more freedom than a lot of his friends. So I don't even want to hear it.
Do you feel like that's true, Zach?
No.
No. Okay. Do you think that your mom's trying to protect you, or do you think she's being overprotective?
Both.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, both.
What would you do with more time?
What would I do with more time?
Yeah, if you had more time on your phone, what would you do with it?
Oh, if I had more time on my phone? I mean, I wouldn't really do much. If I was on a call, at least it wouldn't cut me off.
So it's more about freedom. You wouldn't start doing more things or extra stuff. You just would have some more freedom.
I mean, not really. No. Yeah. It's just a little more like freedom. Yeah.
What apps are you on? Are you on Instagram?
No, I don't have any social media.
You don't have the TikTok?
No.
Oh, Zach, because you don't want it, or you're not allowed?
Not allowed.
It's a pretty big trend on TikTok right now, Zach.
There is?
I think you would like it.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm just saying. Anyway, I don't think I can tell you about it, but a lot of people seem to be dancing without undergarments at this point. So,
what?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. This is what you're missing.
That's just what we need more of.
Yeah. You think?
No.
I have to be honest with you. I'm at the point now. I'm at the age where I'm like, my kids are like scrolling, and I'm like, does anyone wear a bra at this point? And my daughter's like, not right now. And I was like, what? She goes, it's a massive trend right now. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Like what are we doing, Zach? Right? We don't want to see. I mean, we want, you know what I'm saying, Zach.
Yeah, now TikTok is off the list.
Yeah, done. We don't want that at all. Is there an app you wish you had that you think would be reasonable for you to have?
I get these two confused, but which one is the one where it doesn't have videos, but like you can like message your friends
WhatsApp?
or like
Is that WhatsApp?
it's the one between Instagram or Snapchat.
Snapchat.
It's Snapchat.
Yeah. You want Snapchat?
Yeah, just that. I wouldn't want like TikTok or Instagram.
Nancy, why can't he have Snapchat?
I don't know,
Okay.
but I'm going to figure out why he can't.
Will you look into it, or will you just come up with a reason why it's a no?
No, I mean, sure, I would look into it if I feel like he could be safe or I could secure it somehow, then I would consider it.
Okay. And Zach, you just want to like have streaks with your friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nancy, they just want to listen. They just want to hold their phone up to their face, take a picture of their forehead and send it to each other and see how many days in a row they can do it.
That is exactly what they do at school.
Oh my gosh. That sounds like so much fun. I'm keeping him from.
Yeah, you're stopping him. You're stopping him from having a full life, Nancy, of sending his forehead pictures to his other stupid friends so they can send their forehead pictures back to him. Don't you see how you're ruining everything?
We have allowed Zach, DeviantArt. Zach is an artist.
Okay. And
so he is allowed to post his art on this. I guess it's social media because you're sharing your art, but.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, Zach, what do you draw or paint or what do you do?
Yeah, I do illustrations. I usually do only pencil, but sometimes I do pen, and I'm getting into digital art.
Wow, that's very cool. Maybe your mom could send me something so I could see it.
Maybe.
Would that be all right?
Sure.
Can you pick out one thing to send me? Cool. And I have one more question before I ask you the kind of closing question, which is, how did you break your arm? Why are you in a cast?
Oh, so I was playing tennis with my dad and one of his work friends.
And they pushed you down?
Yes, my dad was extremely mean, and like because we lost, he pushed me down.
Unbelievable.
No. So what happened was the person we were playing against was he hit the ball to me, and I was supposed to hit it with a backhand. If you know what that is, it's where you're using your left hand.
Don't insult me, Zach. I understand what a backhand is. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I was supposed to hit a backhand back with, but I am really good with my right arm, so I wanted to do a forehand. So I was backing up extremely fast, and I tripped on my feet, and I fell backwards onto my hand.
No.
And right when I got up, my hand was dangling in a really bad position. And my mom, right when she saw it, she knew it was broken because she saw like white on the skin. Or like, what did you say, Mom?
The bone was pressing?
Yes.
Yeah. Fun times. How did that feel, Zach?
Yeah, I felt like I was about to pass out. It hurt a lot.
Nancy, his blood sugar shoot up immediately?
Yeah, he got pretty high. Well, he got into the 180s, which is unusual for him. And, we immediately went to urgent care, and then we had to go to the hospital. But he ended up having to get pins in his wrist because of the way it broke. So still in the healing process, but it was really only that day that we had issues with his blood sugar.
I came back after that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that heals well for you. Nancy, I'm going to ask you, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wish we would have?
I don't think so.
We did okay?
Yeah.
Zach, did you have a good time?
Yes.
Excellent.
Other than the time cutting off, but yeah.
No, that was hilarious. You have no idea the second time it happened, Zach. You were in the middle of sticking up for yourself. You were like, here's why I should. And you were just gone. I was like, that's perfect. Part of me toyed with ending the podcast right there. Like, how great would it be if you started complaining and then the podcast just ended and it was over?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's what I should have done.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, but I kept talking to you. Oh, well, no, I screwed up. It's my mistake. All right. I really appreciate you guys coming on and doing this. I'm thrilled that you're doing so well. And it sounds like, you guys are really kicking butt. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. Zach, congratulations, man.
definitely appreciate you. And I think it's awesome how many people you're helping, and just keep doing it.
Thank you. I will. My secret, you said you don't know how I do it earlier. My secret is I just promise ads to companies, then I take their money, and then I absolutely have to make podcasts then afterwards. I don't mean it like that. I mean, it's that it's a responsibility is helpful. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if it was just random, or I put one up once in a while, or, even once a week, you could probably get away with being lazy about it. But when it's a job, it's kind of good. It keeps you moving. So,
right.
Because everybody has days they don't want to do something, but I don't get that opportunity. So
right.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much. Okay. All right.
So
guys.
I do have to ask you, and
On the recording,
maybe
or is this going to be personal?
Oh, no.
Okay,
Well, it's about the World Series. So I don't know if you want to, who are you rooting for?
Well, I mean, I'm a Phillies fan, so I'm absolutely mortified that the Braves are in the World Series. It's terrible. And if only they would spontaneously combust is the only way I could be happy. So
wow.
I can't have the Braves winning the World Series, which, by the way, it looks like they're going to do.
That was a pretty good game last night.
Yeah, well, for you, if you're a Braves fan, it was. If you're an Astros fan, I have to be honest. If I'm really breaking down this World Series, which people are going to hear about 6 months after it happened, I'm a Phillies fan, lifelong. I don't like seeing that anybody else in the division do well besides us. Obviously, it's very cool to watch Adam Duvall play because he has type 1,
Right.
and I still think the Astros cheated, and I want them to lose. So,
okay.
I'm happy to see them have bad luck.
You're rooting for them to lose, but not the Braves to win. I see. Okay.
Honestly, I'm just watching them because they're baseball games. I love baseball, and these are the last potentially 7 games of the year. So,
yeah.
But it was cool to see Duvall hit that home run. He's having a really like a hell of a season. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'll ask you, Zach, before you go, does that do anything for you to watch someone with type 1 on television accomplishing something at a high level?
I mean, I don't watch the baseball games a lot because I'm not like a big sports watcher.
I can tell by the words you're using to describe baseball. Go ahead. The baseball games.
But or any game in sports.
But even if you're not watching,
cool.
That aside, like, do you get any bump from that at all? Like, I heard last night a guy hit a home run in the World Series. He has type 1. Does that? Because here's my theory, Nancy. I think it means a lot to parents because I think they want to point to it for their kids. Like, look, baby. Meanwhile, Adam Duvall is one of 3,000 professional baseball players in the world. None of us can do what he's doing. It's an absolute, like, just a randomness, you know what I mean? That he has diabetes is really cool. But I think it's a thing, generally speaking, that parents use, and I understand why, like to kind of give them their kids a little bolster. I don't know if their parents care. I don't know if the kids care. Like
I agree with you. Last night, or not that last night, but maybe we were watching one of the division games, and I mentioned it to Zach, and he was like, "And."
Yeah.
So, but I kind of feel like it maybe has to do with the age of the kid. I don't know, or how far they are into diagnosis. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure for some people it's really meaningful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that overwhelmingly online, you see parents are always asking, like, can you get on an athlete that has diabetes? Can you get on a famous person that has diabetes? I'm always like, I don't know. Like, I like talking to regular people better, honestly. Like sometimes, I mean, there's people I've jived with in the past. Sam Fold's been on a couple of times, and he's a former MLB player. And I just like Sam. I don't think it matters to me that he played baseball. And like, everybody's like, can you get Adam Duvall on the podcast? Like, I mean, people cannot possibly ask me one more time about that. And there's part of me that's like, I could, but I'm just going to become like a baseball fan and talk to him about baseball for an hour. And you'll be surprised. I bet you say to him like, hey, how do you manage your diabetes? And he'll be like, oh, I just wear my pump. Like, it's not going to be some grand secret that he has that the rest of you don't have,
Right.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate you saying that. And thank you for making me come out against the Braves in a recording. I don't care if it's fine if they win. I'm an adult, Zach, to be honest with you. I don't give a crap who wins the World Series. I just want to watch baseball, you know?
Yeah, I don't either, but I'll watch it.
Yeah. I actually, to be honest, most of my life, like, that's not how stuff occurs to me. Like, you know, if I sit and watch a football game, you know, and the Eagles win, I'm like, oh, the Eagles won. And if the Eagles lose, I go, oh, the Eagles lost. Like, I don't like it. I don't understand when sports that other people are playing impacts you so greatly that you're upset by it. Or like, I was excited when the Eagles won the Super Bowl for like an hour, and then I was an adult, and then it was over. You know, it's like, okay, well, that was fun. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting into the series because we're from Atlanta and I want to support the home team. And of course, everybody in this house is, Mom, why are you getting so into this game? You know, that sort of thing. But I don't have to watch every game or anything like that. But
yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you make a prediction as a go ahead. Who's going to win the series and how many games to what?
Of course, the Braves. Maybe 4-1. Let's say
it's not going to happen.
I'll cross my fingers.
It's a World Series between two good teams. It'll at least go 6 games.
Really?
Yep. And 100% this could go 7. It really could. If you know, I think you got stuck last night where the Braves starting pitcher Charlie Morton came out and just was on fire, and he shut the Astros down. The Braves put up a couple of points, and it swings the wrong way. You guys really took a big hit because Charlie Morton broke his leg last night.
I know. I saw that, and he was able to pitch. Like, I don't know.
He threw a couple more, and then he realized he was in trouble, and that was it. He
pretty amazing.
His leg. So, and he's an old guy, so he's going to need every day to come back next year. All right, guys. Thank you very much for doing this. Hold on one second, okay?
Okay.
Well, let me start off by thanking Zach and Nancy for coming on the program and sharing their story. I'd also like to thank Dexcom, makers of the Dexcom G6 and the Hello Dexcom program, which you may be eligible for. Anyway, you might be able to get it. Dexcom.com/juicebox. There's only one way to find out. Hit the link. And to see if you're eligible for that free 30-day trial of the Omnipod DASH, or to inquire about Omnipod's other products like Omnipod 5, go to omnipod.com/juicebox. Fill out the information. Hit enter. Send it over to them. They'll call you back. You get started. omnipod.com/juicebox. If you're looking for my Diabetes Pro Tip series, it begins at episode 210 in your podcast player, or you can find out more about it at diabetesprotip.com, juiceboxpodcast.com, or in the featured section of the private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast Type 1 Diabetes. Perhaps you're looking for the Defining Diabetes series, the Defining Thyroid series, Variables series, How We Eat, After Dark. There's so many to choose from. Juiceboxpodcast.com. Or just dig around that podcast player and find yourself an episode and dig in. You might love it. I used dig twice, but I don't feel like re-recording this. So that's how this is going to stay. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back very soon with another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.